Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Aries September 2023 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant, and I've done a number of clairvoyant readings one-on-one for Aries people from different parts of the world over the course of the last month, over FaceTime and Skype. And if you might be interested to see what is involved in that, check out the information that's in the description. Now, I have also done a number of healings as well over FaceTime and Skype for people from different parts of the world. Now, readings I charge for, I have to. However, the sole contract that I have, because at birth I was given the gifts of clairvoyance and healing, but the sole contract I have is that I must provide healing for free, without any benefit coming back to me at all, and therefore it's available to you. No catch, no strings, no obligations, and if you want to see what's involved in that for you or for someone that you know, just check out the information in the description. Now, as the subscribers know, there are no video advertisements in this content, which breaks into it, so you get to enjoy the experience directly without interruption from video ads. And as you also know, we only take 5 cards here, don't they? Because they speak volumes to us, and they give us everything we need to know, not just a 10-second description of the card, but they go into great detail, don't they? Now, I might use my pen to point out a couple of the interesting things that I see in the cards, in my humble opinion, that might have some sort of an esoteric meaning or be of interest and lend to the reading of the card. But of course, you're free to interpret them however you wish and enjoy my interpretation as it is. Now, let's get it underway for you and see what there is in store. Prince of Wands, 6 of Discs, Prince of Cups, 2 of Cups, a lot of good Cups cards there, great spread of things, and there is the Hierophant. Now, I'm also going to take what I call a mood card. Now, you know I never really do these, do I? But for some reason I just feel compelled to this month, which is a bit of a mood, which we'll have a look at the start of the reading, and it is this one, which is develop stronger concentration. Well, come and sit down here next to me, why don't you? And you and I can have a good look at the paintings on these cards together, take from them what we can, while I do the reading for you. Very interesting spread. Let's look at this thing first. I told you I don't normally do these, but sometimes they can actually bring up something which is important. Now, this says, develop stronger concentration. That may be so, but I can tell you what stronger concentration does do. It brings you into the present. And when you are in the present, thinking just of the moment, other thoughts disappear, recurring, torturing thoughts disappear, and when in the present, anxiety is released as well. Of course, living life in the present, you understand that you are an eternal being, and as such, this life is only for a moment. You are not inside your body is inside of you. Well, I think that's really all that I want to say about that. Now, we have here the Major Arcana card here, and let's have a look to see what it has to suggest to us, shall we? Now, the number, although it's not shown here, the number of the Hierophant in the Major Arcana is 5, the Roman numeral being a V. And here we can see 5 V's. There's a V, there's another V, there's another one both there and there. We can see them rotated in a circle, and they form the shape of a pentagram. Now, the symbol of the 4 elements, fire, earth, water, and air, are united by the 5th element being spirit. Now, what we also see here is that there is a Tibetan, very learned monk. It's a monk to whom great respect would be given. He sits in a keyhole between 2 pillars, adorned with the 4 beasts of the fixed signs. Now here we have the eagle, which is of the fixed sign of water, being Scorpio. The eagle is the exalted form of Scorpio. Here we have the lion, representing the fixed sign of fire, being Leo. Here we have the bull, which this card is Taurus, as you can see. Can you see that there? Taurus here. That is representing earth. And finally, there is the face of a man, which represents the fixed sign of air. Now, I think that the Hierophant is on the spiritual path, and he is both the student and the teacher, student and master of the elemental forces, as he has united the 4 elements within him. The 4 elements of these beasts, actually, they also represent the 4 powers of the Sphinx, which are to know, to will, to dare, and to keep silent. And of these, it is the power of the bull, which is to keep silent. Yet there is also a 5th power, that of spirit, the God within, and the power to go. Now, by uniting the 4 elements, you acquire the 5th virtue, and you realize reconciliation between this material world and that of the spirit. Now, the comments that I make in here, of course, they are not of a religious nature. They are of a spiritual nature. Now, this letter here is a Hebrew letter, and it's Vav, or vow. Now, what does that mean? Actually, and again, my comments are spiritual, they're not religious. This is a Hebrew letter from the ancient Hebrew alphabet, and it represents the power to unite everything that is separated in creation. Now, literally, Vav means a hook, or a peg, or a nail, and the Hebrew letter is a vertical line, really, isn't it, as you see it there? And that represents the vertical line extension of the Creator's perfection into the created world in order to direct it, guiding the cycle of existence step by step until eventually the perfect oneness of the Creator, which underlies all of creation, is revealed. Now, as the connector, this letter, therefore, spiritually, and this energy contains the power to connect heaven and earth. It can be considered a little bit like a pipe which connects and bestows all the energy of the abundance from above down to created beings like yourself. Now, this Vav is the 6th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and this represents the 6 days of creation of the world, as well as the 6 physical directions: right, left, front, and back, up and down. Now, this Vav is also representative of the male penis, I'll put it bluntly, the fertilizing agent, bringing life, abundance, continuity, and addition. Now, this indicates for me that this is a time when you really need to just go along with rules and regulations and the traditions in your life. Now, you may not necessarily believe in all of them yourself, but just for the purposes of getting through things this month, keeping other people on side, don't go creating any revolutions, I suppose. I do think that there is a period here where you might be upskilling yourself. There is a period here also, I think, where you are going to overcome problems in your workplace, wherever that is, which have been stopping you from reaching your potential. You may feel that you are blindly trapped following a religion or a doctrine without questioning it, and your beliefs may come in conflict with it, and if so, that's okay. You may even find that there is some self-searching which takes you into spiritual realms. Now, this energy can point to a meeting with someone who is very spiritually minded, so be open. And I do think that you will be very good at getting information across and inspiring other people. You may find that you are more than ever attracted to sounds and music, much more so than you have been in the past, and you'll be very good at listening and speaking, and you'll want to make your ideas tangible and usable. There is a deep desire within you to be challenged by new experiences. Well, we might go to the opposite side of that diagonal. I did want to get that major arcana out of the way first. Here is the Prince of the Chariots of Fire, who is, of course, the Prince of Wands, and esoterically, as I have set out here, as a prince, he is the airy part of the suit, so he is the airy part of fire, and as you know, air and fire get on famously, don't they? And they whip the fire up within you, so you as a fire sign will find yourself tremendously energized here. Now he bears the crest of a winged lion's head, which you can see here, and that shows his royal judgment. As he is the result of the union of the king and queen, he's shown here, I guess, born in a chariot, drawn by a lion through a field of flames. He represents the airy part of fire, expanding and spiritualizing the element that thus brings the mental qualities of reason to the primal will force that's within you. You'll have a great degree of willpower. He is the consciousness that steers the fire force through the fixed nature of the fixed sign of fire. He has all the virile potential of his father, combined with the steadying and reflective clear thinking of his mother. I really do think that Leo and Cancer are going to be important to you during this period here. There is an intensity about you. There may well be a blossoming love, you know. You'll have a great degree of intuitive creativity, and you can bring things out of the darkness and into light. You'll be swift and strong, and dare I say it, could this possibly be the case for you? You may well find that you are quite impulsive and violent in your thoughts. Nevertheless, you will be just and noble and generous with a sense of humor, I think. He really stands for honesty and integrity, so you will have a great degree of morality at your time. Do you know I'm getting the feeling here of a turning point. When things have maybe not been going so well, you now find that they turn around and they start to move positively for you. So you must use his energy and enthusiasm to move on to better things, with the same confidence that he has. And he reminds you to re-energize in life and be ready to tackle any challenge that may come your way, because you are going to overcome those challenges. This is also telling you to have a lust for life. Be generous, loyal, and maintain a sense of humor. Do you know you have all you need? Don't let yourself be contained. Don't let yourself be slowed down. Life is prepared to receive you. Trust your boundless creative potential. Now, what challenges are present in your life? Spread your arms wide and breathe deeply into your heart and say, I love life and life loves me. Now, where do we come to next? We go to, what's in the center here? Oh, I think this might be someone that might be in your life. Let's have a look. This is somebody who could well be a Scorpio. It could well be a Libra. Now, he is the Prince of the Chariot of Waters, and as a prince, of course, he's air and water. Now, air and water can mean that things are very calm, or they can mean that they are very turbulent, can't they, depending on the strength of the air. Now, as the Prince of the Chariots of Waters, he bears an eagle as his crest. You remember how I told you that the eagle was the sign of Scorpio over here? The exalted form of Scorpio. Scorpio, of course, having three forms. The first being the scorpion, hard. The second being the snake, fluid, like water. And the third being the eagle, the exalted form, being airy, air, of course. So he has an eagle, this exalted form of Scorpio, on top of his helmet. Now he is, of course, the union of the king and queen, and he is shown being carried in a chariot drawn by an eagle above the rippling waters. Now I think that's important to see that this is above the waters. The waters are emotion, and he is sailing along above. Now the eagle can see into the waters with miraculous clarity, and as heir of water, I think that this prince can use, and you'll be able to, use your reason to get into the depths of your soul and emotions. In some respects, he can be a philosopher with clear vision, a bridge between intuition and reason. The currents and the fluidity are representative, I suppose, of the wave-like fluctuations of the serpent, that snake aspect of Scorpio, and its transformative life energy. Now I do see around you here, though, desires, cravings, and the possibility of transformation. You may be very subtle at this time. Now, it's also possible that this is somebody else in your life that you want to keep an eye on. Someone who has a secret violence to them, someone that's very crafty and sly. Almost like an artist who is calm on the surface, but that masks an intense passion. You see, the ability of this person, and these court cards, of course, can be of either gender, the ability of this person to detach, because this is air, and I get that Libra sign around here as well, to detach from the heavy, intense, controlling emotions of Scorpio shows some poise and control of the emotions, but being detached and cool can often be a front for insecurity and fear. Now, usually the feminine asks the masculine to go deeper into his feelings, to join her in the place where the two meet as one in relationship. I will say, though, that I'm just getting a feeling here of someone who could be completely without conscience in the ordinary sense of the word, somebody who is perfectly ruthless, who cares intensely for power, information, and their own aims. And they don't feel responsibility for others, and they can't be relied upon. He cares, or she cares, intensely for power and their own aims. And if you have any doubts about where you stand in relation to you, you stand behind them in their eyes. They are number one. So you may well be coming across somebody who does have who appears calm, but it masks a passion and an intensity which could make them quite volatile. Now, this person, I think, has a lot to offer. There's an immense ability here, but you've got to understand that ultimately they can't be relied upon because their main responsibility is to themselves. Now, they can be secretive, hiding their deepest desires. Could well be someone who has a great degree of interest in the arts or music. But it's a person who can shed great insight into other people's lives, as they have usually done it all themselves, but at worst, they are cruel, selfish, and reckless. But anyway, back to you. And this is the energy which is here. I think you should accept your sexual needs and passions and live them out with awareness. You will discover a lot in this process. Give yourself totally to the experience and observe yourself in it. What secret wishes are you unwilling to admit to? Spend some time each day visualizing yourself, your desires, without getting lost in them. And say this to yourself: I now live out my sexual desires. This makes me more vital and fulfilled. Now, there's still lots of love and success ahead for you by the looks of it to me. So let's have a look here. And we have now the Two of Cups. Now, straight up, the Two of Cups. Now, the astrology that's here, let me read it, that they've noted here is Venus in Cancer. Well, you can't get a more perfect astrological combination than that here, because Venus is the planet of well-being, of love, of relationship. It's also the planet of money. Did you know that? And it's known in astrology as the lesser benefic, Jupiter being the great benefic. So it brings good things wherever it goes. And when it comes into Cancer, well, Cancer is the most maternal of the signs and is about nurturing and development and good feelings, home, togetherness and happiness. But let's see what's going on here with this drawing, shall we? And see what's going on here. If I'm not mistaken, those things are called hippocampi. I'll tell you what they are in just a second. That's these things here. Well, I'll tell you now. Now, in mythology, hippocampi the word hippocampi comes from the Greek for horse monster, and they are horses on the top and dolphins on the bottom. And actually, they were associated with Poseidon, whose chariot was drawn over the surface of the sea waters. Now here, the hippocampi are entwined, the white horse and the black, the light and the dark, forming a perfect union of their respective polarities. Now, above, do you know where I'm just looking at this. Do you know where the word honeymoon comes from? You know, when people get married, they then go on a honeymoon? Well, I'll tell you, it's got to do with these bees here. Now, let me just see what there is going on here. You see, above these entwined horse-dolphin creatures, there are two bees, as you can see. Now, bees here are the creative impulse and the building of sweetness. Now, bees are often used as a feminine symbol of the harmony that results in creativity. Now, their collection of nectar, that's what bees do, which they then make into honey. Well, honey is then made into mead, which is a sort of a beer, and it's alcoholic. And the word honeymoon comes from the ancient custom of giving newlyweds a month's worth or a moon's worth of mead. So mead is made from honey, and they get a month's worth, moon's worth of mead in order to get plenty drunk. And you know what happens when you get drunk and there's someone attractive around you? Well, that encourages fertility, doesn't it? Now, I think that this card could sometimes indicate the possibility of a pre-pregnancy, or at the very least, something of a honeymoon period in relation to something. But this generally speaks to me, for you, are of receptive love, happy relationships, emotional exchange. Do you know that if you love yourself, you are attractive to others? Your receptiveness towards yourself prepares you to give yourself totally to somebody else. A deep emotional exchange will be possible, a giving and receiving of overflowing love. Now, this union occurs in complete harmony, as symbolized by these entwined horse-dolphin things. There is an overflowing of emotional riches at present. This is an image of complete joy and silent ecstasy. So there are for you close bonds, togetherness, love, harmony, a relationship that is strengthening, and certainly mutual love and respect. Now, you know that it is your receptiveness to love which makes you attractive, so surrender to life and what it has to offer to you. Now, with which persons and in which surroundings can you now share your love? Pay attention to the love coming to you now. Remain open and let it enter you and go deep inside. There is nothing to do but enjoy what life offers and say to yourself, I am now ready to let into my life the love relationships which will fulfill me. Now let's see what's going on finally with this card here, and we'll deal with it quickly because I'm aware of your time. And this is the Six of Discs, which I call the Lord of Material Success. Now we see here these discs. They are, well, what are those? What's that fruit? They're here as pomegranates. Do you know, pomegranates have long been associated with prosperity, with fertility, and with abundance. Now, Muslim legend has it that every pomegranate contains one seed from the pomegranate of paradise, and Muslims revered them as symbols of beauty and instructed women to eat them to conceive beautiful children. And in India, the pomegranate is the fruit of Lord Ganesha, the remover of obstacles. What we see here is that there's also a lyre that's there. Now that like a harp type thing, Lyre is how you spell it. Now it is silver colored, which goes with this moon in Taurus. Now the moon happens to be exalted in Taurus, which is a great sign. And Taurus is ruled by Venus, that great benefic, and Venus is treating the moon, which is about nurturing and happiness in this context, with great courtesy and comfort in her domain, being Taurus. So what we see here is, now I notice that silver lunar, because it's the color of the moon, bow is also associated in Greek mythology with the goddess Artemis, who was the goddess of the hunt, of nature, of childbirth. And it's also associated with the golden bow lyre of her brother Apollo, who was the sun god. And in number 6 here, you see, I have a great association with the mystically with the sun as well. I also have a great degree of mystical association with Christ consciousness, Krishna consciousness, and with Vishnu consciousness as well. Now, the presence of the moon in Taurus is obviously a good sign for you, but the moon is transient in nature, isn't it? And so this is saying that, yes, there is success to you, but rather than it being a continuum throughout the period, you'll have a success here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. All good, though, because there's success coming to you, generosity, paying it forward, maybe receiving something of a financial boost. There is the external manifestation of the inner success and transformation. Be open to your success. It is no less than a gift you can learn to accept thankfully and humbly. What does success mean for you at the moment? Visualize it as precisely as possible. Visualize what your success looks for and say to yourself, my self-acceptance and self-confidence, they are the keys to real success. Great job, well done.
Well, I personally found that to be fascinating, didn't you? What a lot of great things happening for you this month, and don't you deserve it? Surely you do, that's for sure. And it's going to be probably until now next month before there's your card goes back over there, that mode card. It won't be until next month now that I see you unless you contact me privately. So, but I would ask you this, if you did enjoy the reading, then on the way out, please hit the like button because it helps the YouTube computer do things with the videos. You understand how that works. Probably a lot better than I do, I should say. But until I see you again, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.